Hi creatives, welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Creative Light. Thank you so much to all my returning subscribers for always watching my videos. I really appreciate you all. If today is your first time of stopping by, you are welcomed. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to make this gorgeous Bubu dress with front design. This dress is quite easy to make. An absolute beginner can make this dress, and if you're a lover of easy breezy wear like me, then this video is for you. I'll advise you to watch to the end of this video so that you can understand how to make this gorgeous piece. Without further ado, let's jump right into today's tutorial. To make this gorgeous piece, you need two fabrics, your ankara fabric and a plain fabric. The ankara fabric, you need like 2 yards for it or 2.5 depending on your size. Then for the plain fabric, you need 1 yard or 1.5 depending on your size and length. Then cover buttons, ruler and tape. So I folded my fabric into 4, that's the front and back together, right? The next thing I did was to mark my 1 inch, which will serve as my starting line, and I ruled across. On that line, I put the neck width. The neck width I used was 2.5. If you're on a big side and you want it a bit wide, you can use 3.5 or 4 inches or 3 inches depending on your preference. Then the neck depth, I also use 2.5. You can as well go down for the neck depth. Then for the neck depth for the back, I used 1 inch. Then I connected it. On that shoulder point, you mark half of your shoulder measurement. Then you mark your sleeve length. I use 16 inches. On that point, you go down by 1.5, which will serve as the shoulder slope. Then you connect it to the neck width. So for the sleeve opening, I use 10.5. You can use 9 inches or more depending on how wide or how small you want your sleeve to be, right? So on that point, I'll divide the hip measurement by 4. Then I added 4.5 to it. You use the biggest circumference of your body, right? That's the measurement you're going to use. If it's your bust that's the biggest part, you divide it by 4 and add 4.5 ease and sewing allowance to it. Whatsoever measurement you got at that point is the same measurement you're going to take at the length of the dress. So from the shoulder, you measure the length of your ankara piece. So for me, I use 41.5. That's 41, then 0.5 sewing allowance. To get the length of your ankara, you subtract the plain fabric from the full length. So that is what you use to cut the length of the ankara part, right? Then the other one, you use it to cut the plain side. I still put the length of the ankara piece 41.5. Then I ruled it across. Then I connected the chest point to the length of the dress. On that shoulder line, I added ½ inch for sewing allowance. Then I connected it. On the armhole side, you just make a slight curve. Then you cut it out. I cut out the back neck piece first, then I opened the sleeve by the side. I took out the back piece so that I can cut the front neck line. I cut the front neckline out. Then for the slit opening, I measured 4 inches initially, but I opened it more to 4.5. If you want it a bit deeper, you can still go down, right? Then I cut it open. So that's it for the cutting of the ankara piece. The next thing I did was to cut the plain fabric. So for the plain fabric, I used 17 inches with 1.5 sewing allowance included for the joining and hemming of the dress. I folded my fabric into two. Then I connected the lines. So the same measurement I got on that ankara, I measured it. That's the same measurement I'll use for the plain fabric. I mark it, then I connect the 2 points. For the plain fabric, I'm going to cut 2 pieces for the front and the back. So I'm going ahead to cut the front and back. For the front design, I cut out a piece of fabric of 7 inches width by 16 inches length on fold. Then I place the front piece on the fabric to cut out the neckline. And I cut out the shoulder. So the measurement for the opening, I marked it on the plain fabric. Then I cut it open. At the down, I went up by 1.5. You can go up by 2.5 or 3 inches depending on how you want your slant to be. Then I connected it to the center front. I cut it out. This is the design for the front. Then I went ahead to add paper stay to it. I notched all the sides so that I can be able to fold it. I folded it and I gave it a very good press. I ironed it so that it will relax. I've ironed the sides. I've gone ahead to cut my lining piece because I'll be lining this dress. If you're not going to line it, you're going to cut out facing. So for the facing, just cut out a small fabric. You place your back piece on it. You cut out the neck and the shoulder. For the width of the facing, you can use 2.5 or 3 inches. Then you do the same thing for the front. You put your fabric on fold. You place the front piece on the facing. You cut out the neck and the shoulders. Then you open the facing. Same width you use for the back is the same width, 2.5 or 3 inches. That's what you're going to use. This is the front facing and this is the back. You place the back facing on the front, right side facing each other, then stitch on 1/2 inch on the shoulders. So I opened my main fabric, my front piece. I placed the front design on it. and stitch on the facing. After that, you place your back piece on top of it and stitch on 1/2 inch, the shoulder allowance. I've stitched it. The next thing to do is to turn with your lining or facing. So if you're not using lining, you're just going to place your facing. You make sure the shoulders align, then stitch on it, notch and flip it inside. I've stitched on the shoulders of this lining, then I place the shoulders lining to fabric right side facing each other. I pinned it at the shoulder. Then the neckline. Then what I'm going to do is to sew it round. I'll sew the other side, then notch it and turn it inside, right? So I've turned the neckline. Then I went ahead to cut a band of 5 inches width by the length of the sleeve. I'm just going to place it right side facing each other, then I'll stitch on it. I'll do the same for the other sleeve. Then I'll also attach the plain fabric to it. I'll place the right side of the plain fabric to the right side of the ankara. Then I'll stitch on 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So I've attached the sleeve and also attached the plain fabric, right? I also went ahead to cut my pockets. After attaching my pockets, I'll stitch on 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the sides. From the sleeve, I'm just going to sew it down to the hem of the dress and also hem the down of the dress with 1 inch sewing allowance. Have sewn the sides and also hem the down of the dress. Then I ironed it. The next thing to do is to attach the buttons. From that opening, you're going to measure it. Whatsoever measurement you have, you divide it by the number of buttons and you place your buttons. So I've gone ahead to hand stitch the buttons and our dress is ready. If you found this video useful, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. By doing so, the algorithm will push this video so that more people can see it and watch it. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. If you have any question, go ahead and ask your questions. I'll gladly respond to your questions. All right, see you in my next one. Bye for now.